Just wrapped up a Zoom call with one of my mentors, a cinematographer that was one of the first 3 DPs I met when I moved to Los Angeles at 20 years old. We've kept in touch. He's helped me progress through my career, including establishing the relationship with News Nation that you've seen me freelancing for over the years. So he's got a project coming up. He is the DP. I'm going to be I guess the A camera operator on it. I'm apprehensive to talk about it before it's in the can, but after that call, it's looking super solid, assuming, no catastrophic world events or other unforeseen health issues. It's a go. First up, Black Friday sale. So Zune has sent me a few lights to review. Been happy with this B500. I use this for some live shots outdoors in direct sunlight, and it had no problem providing enough output. We ran it at 50%. I should have measured, but I would say 8 to 10 feet away from the correspondent 50% intensity daylight. And when I mentioned this in the previous vlog, I had a few people mention that the fan noise is problematic at higher intensities. So to date, I have used that light on a documentary interviews, a still photo assignment where we shot multiple executive headshots. You can refer to a few vlogs back to see both of those experiences. And they've got a Black Friday sale going on right now. Any of their products are 17% off. Normally with the affiliate link, it's like 10% off. But anyway, if you want to check it out, the fan is running continuously at the moment. And let's see, I am arm's length from the camera. This is just an inexpensive Rode Lav plugged into a DJI Wi-Fi mic in my echoey home gym. So I'm sure the reverb's kind of high, but I'm curious to see if you hear the fan noise. I'll stop yapping for a moment so you can listen. So I don't really see that as problematic. It's well below your typical air handling unit in a home or an office environment. Working here in Texas for the last several years, I do not shut down air con systems when we're doing interior interviews. I've found if there's a little bit of room tone, fan noise, that is much preferred over a sweating, uncomfortable subject. When I was in California for 22 years, it was really up to the sound mixer on shoots of various levels. It was like, I don't know, maybe 50% of the time they want to shut the AC down when running on interviews, but I've always favored let's roll with the background noise, particularly with my experience over the years doing live TV broadcast news. I've done live shots on the side of freeways. My last vlog, we had a significant rain squall with heavy winds. It started to damage my pop-up tent. Beck and I were both holding the tent down with sandbags, and still 2 of the legs elevated up in the air while we were live. And then you cut to the air check and it's sounds great. You're not hearing any of that wind or other problems. So if this fan noise concerns some, for the type of work I do here on my vlog, that level of fan noise on a key light is not an issue. All right, so I'm gonna get my mic right up next to the unit. You can see that's maybe half a foot away. Take a listen to the fan noise at this proximity. Now, I'm recording on the iPhone with the DJI mic. I'm sure there's some level of compression and automatic gain taking place. So when I'm not speaking, I think the phone is gaining up, which is going to exaggerate the amount of noise. But like I said, when I'm talking, I don't hear any problems with that. I've got the dishwasher running in the background in my kitchen, which is around the corner. To me, audibly, it's about the same intensity as the fan noise. But again, all of it falls off into the background, all is well. An additional accessory from Zune is this USB Type-C remote control box. Gives you all the functionality that's on the instrument at a remote. This would have been useful this week out in the field doing live shots, as I had the light positioned up in the air, just a little bit out of reach, and the display and control knobs are on the top side of the light. The past few weeks, all of my work Zoom calls have been here at the desk with the Zune light bar, the C100 RGB bicolor, battery powered. I have not charged this since the first time I unpackaged it and did a demo on it. And it's running, for my Zoom calls, I run it at 3% on the intensity. And then you've seen in some of my vlogs, I've been setting this on my rowing machine, kicking colored blue wash into the wall behind me. I'm really looking forward to using this on like a medical or tech video where I get to actually do an RGB color wash in the background. I thought when RGB LED lights came out, I would be doing all kinds of corporate color wash backgrounds. And now that they're ubiquitous, still only comes up a couple times a year. This week's vlog and work is a continuation of last week, more days doing news live shots. It's one of the easiest assignments I've had for this network. It was all close to my house, 17 to 25 minutes away each day. And we would set up in a position. Sometimes we were doing up to 7 hours of the morning block of the day, like 1 to 2 hits per hour. And some of the other days we were doing the same thing, but in the evenings, our first hit would be the local time, 1400 hour. Several commenters saying the amount of gear I'm using is overkill for news. Yeah, maybe, but the amount of stuff I set up is consistent with what the staff photographers are using for this network, and it's consistent with other national news outlets here in the United States. I haven't done much international work, so I can't speak out there, but I'm grateful I get the time and the expectations there to like kind of dial things in and make them look nice. I've found, because I have the van load of gear, because I'm jumping between corporate, commercial, broadcast, sports, and news, I got more gear than I need, but that also means I can optimize for different times of day. So when the sun's not up, I run these newer panels at minimum intensity, high ISO 10,000, and I'm doing that so the ambient street lighting reads on camera. Otherwise, if I kept my Astros out there, the backgrounds would be super dark. I forgot to bring the matte box with the eyebrow. The sun's flaring the lens right now. It's because I switched cameras and lenses. I have a clip-on matte box for this zoom sitting in the garage. So next time I'll bring it. This is a reminder for me more than you. For the last 3 years, my default camera for live shots has been an FX9. My A camera, I keep it all kitted out and pre-built specifically to do news gathering and general like corporate video type of E&G coverage. It lives in the van, clipped in on my tool chest. This week, I decided to use the Burano and my PL 17-120 because I've had several offline discussions with other owner-operators in the US and internationally that have upgraded to the Burano. Several broadcast news shooters that moved up from the F55 to the Burano, and then one other DP moved from the Alexa Mini and LF over to the Burano platform. 4 inquiries, 4 different owner-ops in the US. Specifically, they picked up bookings to do live coverage of the US presidential elections. So they wanted my feedback on, what camera settings or anything, pitfalls I'd found in the field. So I thought, well, this is a good opportunity for me to actually take the camera out and vlog a bit about it. And for me as an owner op, I know I keep saying this, but like I like using the same gear across all of the work I do for the consistency. I would love to have an E&G camera, 2/3 inch with a B4 zoom and a wide angle zoom, 2 zooms. I don't do enough of this work to justify that. All of that kit costs significantly more than a Burano. So I was getting the double skip of sun flare at this setup. We had the sun from overhead in the background, and then it was also skipping off the pond. So even if I had a matte box with an eyebrow, I still would have had to set a bottomer flag. So instead, it was good. I had Beck with me, put him to work, flagging above and below. Unfortunately, during this portion of this day, we didn't have any wind. I wouldn't have been able to have an 18x24 and a 24-36 out there. And the winds we were experiencing the previous week. And yeah, iPhones for live shots and news gathering. Yeah, fantastic tool. I've used it for several packages, and I've also used the Live View app to do a live shot over the iPhone. Sometimes it's the right tool, or it's just the one I have available. During the migrant surge in Eagle Pass last year, I was just coming back from lunch. Got back to Shelby Park right as a wave of several hundred Venezuelans crossed, and I got these fantastic shots on my iPhone. Had I stopped to get the big camera out of the van and the sticks and all that, I would have missed the moment. Law enforcement ride-alongs, I've used my FX3 in conjunction with the iPhone and the little DJI Wi-Fi mics to get far superior content. Been talking about a few different immigration assignments where I travel down to southern Mexico and even Central and South America. If I pick one of those bookings up, I'm thinking of buying the little Sony Z90V camcorder. I'll probably get one used. I'm not trying to do the cinematic thing with any of this. Yes, I'm running a big sensor camera, Super 35 scan, and I'm shooting a 5.6 to an 8 aperture when the sun is up and I have enough light to do so. Because I want to identify the background. I don't want to be totally fuzzed out. This is the field correspondent that's based in San Antonio reporting on a regional story in the San Antonio area. So we want the background because it's news gathering to be discernible. And again, yes, a 2/3 inch camera would be more optimum for what I'm doing, but I'm running with what I own. And now, talking in full contradictory circles, the few big studio motion picture sets that I have worked on, as well as television series, are not shooting at shallow apertures. It's all 4, 5, 6, 8, because you've got an art department, productions design, expensive location, or a set on a stage was constructed to augment and enhance a televisual story. It's the shallow aperture stuff for me has been the low budget corporate with ugly and limited locations. 4 a.m. start time for morning news means we're done by lunchtime. And so nice being close to home. We picked up some sushi and dropped in to watch the 11:30 adults train. This is normally when I train jiu-jitsu, but I'm in week 5 of my tweaked hip and back. Should be able to get back to it next week. But yeah, not the best choice to eat raw fish while in a room with a bunch of sweaty adults. Chest and back day. Beck's working on his PT, preparing for basic. Third Thursday night each month is fight night at our MMA Academy, and I volunteered to mix sound for the live stream, which means I delegated all to Beck so he gets a little bit more experience mixing and just interacting with people in a time-sensitive environment. Purchased 2 Audio-Technica broadcast headsets with cardioid mics. Did not have a chance to open these and prep them in advance. Beck and I have been so busy on the news grind. But I did know that I had to purchase a 1/4 inch to 3.5 millimeter adapters to go into the headphone amp. Justin's setting up an FX30 as the commentator camera, and we installed my FX3 top handle. It's the first time I've ever used that audio module. Last month, we came out of the Sound Devices mixer over USB-C directly into a MacBook running OBS. But it was a 6-foot cable, and I was afraid if the cable got bumped or pulled on, it might cause OBS to freeze or crash. So going XLR analog into the commentator camera solved a couple of problems. It ensures that picture and sound will be synchronized, and it gives back a 25-foot XLR so he can get himself in a corner where he's comfortable and has a good eye line on the talent and mics that he's mixing.
Right, you should protect your back the entire time. That's on the martial arts. They allow you to punch and kick in the back. It is Muay Thai. It is a big score.
Hey, I want to give a shout out right now. We got, I'll have to wait till afterwards, but Colin Rogers is fighting this weekend. He's fighting tomorrow. And so is Dragon Davila fighting up in Houston for Fury.
Some iPhone screen capture, air checks off of Insta and YouTube. It's interesting, Instagram audio quality is not as good. There's more compression artifacts. So this is a question for Justin. I wonder if we can tweak the bitrate on Instagram or if that's just fixed. YouTube looks and sounds better. Got a holiday week coming up. I don't have anything scheduled, but I do have a few more days of BTS on doing live shots. We'll cover that in next week's vlog. Upcoming weeks, I've got some free time and availability for consultation calls. Had a few this week that were all different and constructive for both sides. Really looking forward to doing some more. Info in the description.